Good morning, Laker fans. It is November 27th, 2018. Time to check out those Week 7 power rankings and also check out what the Denver Nuggets are expected to bring against our Laker boys tonight. I am Rachel A. Smith, your hostess and fierce feminine force behind the RAS.LakerGirl channel, your proper Laker news resource. So how about those Week 7 power rankings? In case you didn't notice, I really love the numbers. I actually love translating the numbers. I do it for pretty much a living. So, yeah, those Week 7 power rankings, what are those numbers telling us? Well, I typically discuss during scouting games, Eastern and Western Conference standings, power rankings, combine those two, and we get a look at what the possible NBA champions for 2019 might be in this moment in time. Right now we have the number one. If you hear giggling, that is my teenager watching anime. So number one, we have the Milwaukee Bucks. That's a 14-5 record. Those guys are just hanging on for the ride. They might just hold on for the whole season. Number two, LA Clippers. Those boys across the locker room, they have a 13-6 record. And the number three, Toronto Raptors, 17-4 record. They have also had the easiest schedule in the league, so people are giving them that criticism. And then we have the number 4, Denver Nuggets, our opposition for the night. We have beat them before. And, of course, we have the number 6, Golden State Warriors. They have a 14-7 record. They were able to close out 2 wins this weekend without Steph Curry. Decent wins, that is. He did have that accident in his Porsche. His car was hit twice. He was only hit once, and I heard that he has been looking well. He was supposed to start practicing this week, and Steve Kerr has said he doesn't look like he's suffering any ill effects from that fender bender either. So number 10, we have the LA Lakers. Of course, they have an 11-8 record. They are up from 13th place and from Week 6 rankings. They currently hold the 4th place in their defensive rating in the league since adding Tyson Chandler. They are looking great, even though we know they could look better. So what do the Denver Nuggets have? The Lakers have actually played this team 3 times. Our first 2 preseason games were against the Denver Nuggets. The first game, the second game, we only lost by 2 points. The third game was our season game. We ended up closing that 121 LA and 114 Nuggets. One thing I do love about this Lakers team is they will not, they have a way of beating a team that has beaten them, and they have a way of learning how to play a team better from game to game. So as long as they keep doing that, there's no reason why we shouldn't win some series and probably get a good playoff berth. Unfortunately, we only played Orlando twice, and we dropped both of those, probably because they're an Eastern team, and I'm not even going to discuss it. Anyway, so remember at the end of last season, Denver Nuggets closed their season by being the last team on the last day to not make it into the playoffs. It was in the regular season. It was pretty ugly. In their 2018 offseason moves, they were able to re-sign free agents Nikola Jokic for 5 years, and he's their center. Will Barton signed for 3 to 4 years with a player option on that 4th year. He is their shooting guard. They drafted at the number 14 spot Michael Porter Jr., a very interesting cat. Unfortunately, he has some herniated disc in his back, and he had surgery on July 22nd. They don't plan for him to sit out the whole season yet, but that would be his second back surgery. They also drafted in the number 141 spot Jared Vanderbilt, a very interesting defensive switch 5, meaning he can step into the center position at will kind of guy. Some of those guys do well in that role, some guys don't. He was expected to do well. He is currently out and unavailable to play. He's had foot surgery. Yeah, so both their draftees are basically on the bench, if not further away. So other roster notables, they have point guard Jamal Murray, he will be a player to contain. He averages about 17 points per game, and he is the top scorer of their game. Power forward Paul Millsap, he does have some aging issues because he is not a young cat, but he is still playing his good game whenever he can. We also have power forward Trey Lyles, power forward Mason Plumlee. Plumlee and Lyles have the best highlight reels on ESPN.com if you ever have a chance to check them out, and they do play well off each other. And they also have a very interesting power forward, Juan Hernan Gomez from Spain. He is actually called Juancho. So it's a nickname that Coach Mike Malone even uses, as does the press. They also have Isaiah Thomas on their roster, an interesting pickup in the offseason, and unfortunately he is still recovering from that hip surgery that he's put off. He's actually expected back in December. So where are they now? Well, Nuggets sit 3rd in the Western Conference, and as I just said, 4th in the power rankings with a 13-7 record. One thing I didn't say about the power rankings, let's go back real quick. Milwaukee Bucks, LA Clippers, Toronto Raptors, and Denver Nuggets. The top 4 are all those heavy hitting defensive teams. These teams have high defensive ratings. They have big players. They play hard, heavy ball. If you go small, they're going to make you pay 99% of the time. So, and the Denver Nuggets are clearly one of those teams to keep an eye out for. Ooh, my hair is everywhere. So, they actually have a 4-6 record in the last 10 games, but they are on a 3-game winning streak, so we need to be cautious for these guys. Their two biggest rivals right now are the Portland Trailblazers and the Los Angeles Lakers. Both of them could actually push them into a poor spot in the playoffs or eliminate them in the playoffs. So they're keeping an eye on us, and we did beat the Blazers, so I find us to be more of a threat. Of course, we have LeBron James. That's always more of a threat. Let's remember this. So basically, they're getting their groove back, and they're setting their sights on their most difficult targets, which will be us. So Lakers' first 2 preseason games came at the hands of the Denver Nuggets. Let's see, Derek Fisher had framed the whole preseason in a way that was very useful. He said, how did the Lakers play with LeBron and how did the Lakers play without LeBron? Well, there is a bit of dip in the second unit play, but I still think that we play much better without LeBron than some other bench teams and some other second units. We do fail him a bit, and we do, when he comes back into the game, sometimes he has to make that run to recover those points. I know the bench is working on that in some of our best games. We haven't had that issue because of the rotation. So, Lakers lost both games to the Nuggets in the preseason, but we absolutely won the October 25th season game. That mattered. Lakers came into the game on a 3-game. That is not true. I realized that was wrong. It was not a 3-game winning streak. Unfortunately, one of the reporters from the Nuggets had that wrong because the Lakers had beat the Mavs the night before. So, Lakers weren't doing that well, really. But they did win with a 121-114 Nuggets loss. Yay! So it's a back-to-back game. It was one. We had won at Phoenix. It was Phoenix the night before against the Suns. That would have been Tyson Chandler's game where he might have been showing off his talents. He really wasn't supposed to play for the Suns, but he did play when we came into town. It was one of the best managed games I've seen by Luke Walton. I fell in love with that speed rotation. They had no BI and they had no Rondo. And they pretty much ran the substitutions kind of like a soccer game, which means you guys get in there, get in your position, and do what you're supposed to do, which was really the perspective and mindset that really got the Lakers on some of these winning streaks that did well. I understand adding Tyson Chandler changes the rotation, changes the speed of the rotation, changes the speed of play, having 2 centers in the game at all times. But at the same time, it has obviously brought us some boons. That's a double-edged sword of bringing in a new player, but we can all get back to that pretty easily. I think the Lakers seemed really in command of that game. I've noted that there. That was like one of the big things I noticed about the game. I got to go to the game, and that was really great. Let's see. When at the time we did not yet have Tyson Chandler, we would have him, I think, a couple Sundays or a Sunday after that. But when Jokic got into the game, and McGee was out of the game, the Lakers would swarm that center position, and basically they held down Jokic for that game. Player containment is one of the things the Lakers have somewhat failed on, and they definitely were able to contain Jokic. They will have to contain Jamal Murray as well in this game as their top scorer. Defensively, the Lakers are going to have to expect like a Jazz-like kind of play of defense. The Jazz didn't come out that great, but they do have strong defensive play. Offensively, because of the new weightiness in that center position, the Lakers really need to start working on separating that defense. And I mean, I suppose this works for defense and offense, but they need to separate that bench and starter mentality, and every guy needs to come into the game expected to do well and expected to compete in whatever position they play, no matter who else is on the opposite side of the floor for them. They clearly were able to do that against the Denver Nuggets, and they were also able to expand the floor. One of the things the Lakers did in this game with that speed rotation and speed substitutions that they were working on, basically dropping one or two guys in at a time and just letting the game roll at its own pace and whatever that new group of guys was able to build for each other. It's very exciting stuff. And they were also able to work on three pieces of the court. There was the defensive end, the offensive end, and they actually worked the mid-court, which means they were working a more than complete game than a lot of other teams are handling. There was mid-court defense, acquiring the ball, mid-court offense, passing under the rim. So a lot of stuff, a lot of very expansive stuff for the Lakers, making room for them to play and making room for themselves, which, as I said, making a shot for yourself and making room for yourself is a high-class kind of caliber player, and the Lakers were able to show that against the Denver Nuggets, and I hope to see that again tonight against the Denver Nuggets and throughout the rest of the season. Again, thank you for watching, Laker fans. I do expect the Lakers to be able to win this one because they have beat the Denver Nuggets before. And Lakers, as long as they come out and be the Lakers, the quality Lakers we know and love, they will actually do quite well. After all, we have LeBron James. All right, so that is all I have for this morning. Good luck, Lakers, tonight. I am Rachel A. Smith. Thank you for watching my channel, the RAS.LakerGirl, your proper Laker news resource. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And it is getting a little colder in here. Cold in Southern California. I'm whopping like 60 degrees, so we're freezing our butts off. Have a good one, and good luck, Lakers, tonight.